This is the four-part version of the Dona, nobis, pacem from Haydn's Nelson Mass. So I'm going to play all four parts. I'm not playing the accompaniment in this particular video. You can look at the accompaniment and work out why. It's very exciting, but I don't think it will give you a lot of help in learning your part. And remember that this is a movement that we haven't looked at in rehearsal. So this is something new, but it's a very fun music, very fun movement to play with some lovely music in. So it's worth learning. The first thing to point out to you, if you've not already spotted it from the single voice videos, is that the entries in this come in off the beat. So always on the second beat of the bar and characteristically high. So it's a 1, Dona, nobis for the altos there. I'm not going to attempt to sing the tenor entry on the high A. Be aware as well that the parts often cross over. So in this version, it won't always be entirely straightforward to work out where your line is within the four parts of the choral texture. But I'll do my best to make entries clear. There's a distinct structure to this movement, and that's a good way of pointing out some of the things to be aware of. So the opening idea, which is starting off the beat, is then followed at letter A by a passage in A major. The music goes into A major. And that's a sort of secondary idea. And the piece is actually a sonata structure. That's true of several of the movements in the Mass, which simply means that we have a main idea in the tonic of D major, we have a secondary idea in A major, and then later in the movement, after we've built up, we will reprise the opening idea. But before we do that, at letter B, Haydn explores some of those musical ideas. First of all, at letter B, by going into the minor key. And I've warned you about that in one or two of the voice part videos. Having done that, you can see on page 79, if we go into the middle system, that he's beginning to, it feels like he's beginning to build things up. And that's because at letter C, he goes back to the opening idea. And so we have a sense of reprise. Now, in a sonata movement, what you can't then do is play your secondary idea again, or sing it in A major. So you'll see that at letter D, the idea that was your second idea is actually presented in D major. But because it's in a different key, he doesn't really want to go down, which is what you sang when it was in A. So that's why you get that little leap. Sopranos and tenors. So watch for that interval. It's not hard, and it's rather a nice feature of the piece. But sometimes people think it's a new idea. It's actually what you sang at letter A, but now it's in the home key of D. So there is a structure to this piece. And then at 79, as I said, you've got your build up to that repeat at letter C of the opening ideas. I think that's probably about all to say about it. But just be careful when you get towards the end, when you think all is done. If you go to letter E, page 82, the fourth bar of E has a little trap. 2, 3, 4, and singers like to fall into those three empty beats. There's 3 beats of silence, and then after that, the penultimate bar of page 82, altos. I'm actually going to play there. You, of course, come in on the second beat of the bar, and you fill in those empty beats. And it does encourage altos to sing in the empty beats in the fourth bar of E, where nobody should be singing. because you do something different later on. So counting is of the essence there. But I hope you enjoy this. I'm now going to go from the beginning through to the end. Here we go. So after 1 beat altos is your chord, and a 1. Now, you will be able to find some recordings with orchestra, of course, on YouTube, and it's fairly likely some will have popped up on the right-hand side of your screen on YouTube as you were looking at these videos. So have a look at some of those, or just Google for a recording of the Dona nobis pacem from the Nelson Mass, and you're fairly likely to find one come up, because that you really need to know how this works with that movement in the accompaniment. So happy listening and happy singing.